Well, if you're listening to this right now, it means that you know that Fernando Alonso did not qualify for the Indy 500. I'm just gonna, expound on what I think this means for IndyCar and the Indy 500 moving forward. Now, first things first, I have no problem with the fact that Alonso didn't make the race. In all honesty, I think this makes the Indy 500 more intriguing to watch, especially for F1 fans who thought he was just gonna make it in until they heard that he was having problems before and that there's a chance that he wouldn't make it through. Obviously, he was, even though this team was, branded under McLaren, it was really just a Carlin racing car at the end of the day. So there wasn't really much expectations for it, even though Alonso was the one driving it. As it regards bump day, I think this is a fantastic thing. In all honesty, IndyCar couldn't hope for a better thing to happen. With a superstar like Fernando Alonso, the kind of superstar that he is, for him to not make this race will prove to viewers how hard it is to qualify for a race like the Indy 500, which is good because this helps preserve the Indy 500 as the greatest race on the planet. I mean, headlines are going to show that Alonso, two-time world champion Fernando Alonso, failed to qualify for the Indy 500. When a motorsport casual reads something like that, it's going to really stick in their mind that, damn, somebody like Alonso couldn't qualify for it. Granted, they don't know the full story. He struggled. He had that crash in practice and they had to fix the car up and stuff like that. I also think that this really brings a lot of legitimacy to the Indy 500, as I said earlier. You got Kyle Kaiser, who managed to qualify, bumped Alonso out, as a matter of fact, barely. We know he had his crash. His team massively underfunded. When he crashed, he didn't even have a sponsor on that car, as a matter of fact, when he had that crash for Hunkus Racing, and he ended up making it in. And that in itself is another headline for the Indy 500. It's a feel-good moment, and we've had feel-good moments and all these dramatic moments happen, and the race hasn't even happened yet. I don't even know who's on pole to this day. The pole qualifying hasn't started yet, but this is very good. You heard Roger Penske and Chip Ganassi and those people saying, hey, all the full-time drivers should be guaranteed a spot in the Indy 500. And this bump day proves that to be wrong. I disagree with that. The Indy 500, I don't care if it's a part of the IndyCar schedule. If it is the big racing spectacle that we all say it is, then there should be no guaranteed way to get in besides putting in those 4 laps and having that fast average speed. That's the only way somebody should get in. Nobody should be guaranteed a spot into a race of this prestige, regardless of whether you're a full-time or a part-time. I think this is good. For a couple of years now, we've had exactly 33 people entering, so there's never really been a need for a bump day. But I think if IndyCar can continue to get at least 40 entrants, or 36, 37, stuff like that, and we continue having these bump days, it makes every spot on the grid that much more valuable to me. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I think bump day is a success. I think this new qualifying format for the Indy 500 is also a success. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.